Summer is the season of fig fruits. In Jammu Hills, there grow different species of ficus, popularly named as fig trees. And the fruits which you are just looking at, they are popularly named as Trimbal in Dogri language, Timil in Hindi. Fruit is called Iti in Tamil language, and in English it is named as Roxburgh fig. The name Ficus roxburghi was coined by Nathaniel Wallich, a botanist, and name was in honor of founding father of Indian botany, Dr. William Roxburgh. So species was named by Nathaniel Wallich as Ficus roxburghi. But later it was changed by Laurier, another naturalist and botanist, who named this species as auriculata because its leaves have auricles. If you look at this leaf, this is called auricle. One on this right side, another on left side. So this is petiole, and base has having these ear-like, pinna-like lobes, which are called auricles. So it has been named as auriculata. The one particular leaf, if we focus, then it looks like this. This is the one leaf which is quite large in size. So this is also known as Indian giant fig. And these leaves are leathery, and they are mostly used by locals, villagers in the hills to stitch as the dining cups and plates. And they carry out the use of these fig leaf cups plates during marriage ceremony sometimes, and even other community langars and feasts. If the Bahunia Valai, another climbing Bahunia, Phanera Valai, Malungad, Maljan, Malu, Creeper, if its leaves are not available, then in the hills, this particular fig leaf is used for making the cups and plates. So this is Ficus roxburghi as per Wallich, but presently it is named as Ficus auriculata. And since the leaves are of very large size, it has also been named as elephant ear fig because the leaf size is quite large, largest among the fig species we see in the Indian subcontinent. And the unique structure about fruit is, if each fruit, whatever we see, this is a mature fruit, and there is a ostiole, a pore on the oblate top shaped structure, and through this hole, which is called as ostiole, this is called ostiole, through this ostiole the wasps which gets developed inside the fig, because the eggs are laid inside the fig fruits when they are immature. So here we have the Timil unripe fruits, totally unripe. So this is a green in color. Then they turn pink, as in this, and then they dark pink, or fascinating pink red, as you see in this case it is almost red. And these fig fruits, after the eggs are hatched into insects, because they go out, they have to leave the figs, so they have to go out from this hole, which is called as ostiole. The fruit is called as cyconus type, and in fluorescence, when it is not ripe, so it is called hypanthodium. Inside the hypanthodium, there are three different kinds of minute, tiny flowers inside one fig. So there are male flowers. Then there are two types of female flowers. One is short styled female flowers, others are long styled female flowers. Eggs are laid inside short styled female flowers, and long styled female flowers are left unhurt. When these wasp insects come out of these figs, so they are carrying pollen from the male flowers, and when they enter second or other figs nearby on the same tree or some distant tree, the long styled female flowers gets pollinated and fertilized, and then they develop into small nutlets, small nut-like structures. So this one particular fruit, this whatever we see, this is not a single fruit. In fact, this is assemblage of tiny nutlets. And if we break open one, then we'll see inside structure. So this is just on we have, and this particular osteole and then fleshy inside that moss is edible. Mostly it is used by the hornbills. So many Indian pied hornbill, Indian grey hornbill, Ossiceras birostris, then also by barbets, many barbets, brown-headed barbet, even great Himalayan warbet, that is Xylopogon viridis, then even coppersmith, Xylopogon hematosphala, like that. And third group of birds which usually come to thrive on the fig fruits, wild fig fruits, they are green pigeons, tree wren Saphenura in the hills, and tree wren Phoenicopterus, that is yellow-footed pigeon in the lower hills, especially in the plains. And these fig fruits are also liked by the Himalayan palm civet, and then even bats, Pteropus giganteus and other fruit bats, which come during night time and they devour these delicious figs. Figs have nurtured the civilizations all over the globe. So early civilizations, they have documented the fig as one of the earliest fruit tree which got into cultivation. Its cultivation, this is basically a forest fig which I am just focusing, Ficus auriculata. But the fig which was under cultivation since ages, that is Ficus carica, since it was thought it has its nativity at a location, Asia Minor locality called Caria, and because of that it got its species name as Ficus carica, which is under cultivation in the Mediterranean region, Iran, Portugal, Tibet. Even the Turkey is the highest producer of edible figs. Then in India also there are attempts being made to cultivate the edible fig. Even in Jammu, some progressive farmers have started the cultivation. But this fig is wild. It occurs inside the forest, in the agricultural fields, and local people have lot of taste. They prefer this fruit during the June, sometimes even up to July. They find these fruits and they are eaten raw. The shelf life is not very long, so either it can be dried like Ficus carica, or they are eaten raw or developed into jams and chutneys or kind of sausages. So it has a better nutrition, rich in calcium, magnesium, even potassium. So it's good for blood pressure related disorders. It's good for digestion. Digestive complaints are also taken care of by consumption of these fig fruits. And a rich source of iron and the vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin C. These fig fruits, Ficus auriculata in particular, gets pollinated by a hymenopteran insect, which is geologically identified as Ceratosolon emarginatus. So this is in Dogri language called as Trimbal. Another fig which I would like to focus now is the Punjab fig. This is another fig, but it is small in size. The fruits are of a bit smaller in size. They hardly exceed 2 or 2.5 centimeter across, whereas these Ficus Roxburgh, they go beyond 6 to 8 centimeter. For example, this fruit is quite large, so 6 to 8 centimeter across, and ostiole is also seen, and this is stalk. So this is Trimbal, Ficus auriculata, but this smaller purplish fruits are Ficus palmata. If this and species which we see in Jammu Hills is Ficus palmata, subspecies Vargeta. But in India also we have another Ficus palmata, subspecies palmata. And this particular tree is deciduous. In comparison, this is almost evergreen. You find leaves on the tree year round, but in this case the leaves fall during December, January, and tree becomes leafless, and new growth starts somewhere in February, March, and those tender spring foliage is collected, harvested by the locals in Jammu Hills and consumed as delicious vegetable with the addition of curd or whey, lassi. And this particular fruit has also got various local names. The name in Tamil language or South India, it is called Itti, Jangali Anjeer or Jangali Anjeeri, Punjabi Anjeer or Punjabi Anjeeri. But the more common Punjabi and Dogri names are Phagwara or Phagwara or Phakadi and Fakadu. Fruits are called as Fakade or Fakadu, and these are also quite delicious, but only problem with these fig fruits is they are short-lived. Shelf life is not more than 2 days, and if fruits are already over ripened, then they will perish within 2 days, and if they are half ripe, then they can be eaten even after 2-3 days after harvest. But it is always better and it is advised to relish them as you collect them. So on the same day, consuming the fig fruits, forest fig fruits on the same day is advisable. So this species Ficus palmata. So this is also quite common in the Jammu Hills, and this is the month of June, when on 5th June we observe the World Environment Day, and rather the week from 5th to 12th June. And this today we are on 17th June, and this 17th June world over is celebrated as World Day against desertification and droughts. So the fruits trees, especially the forest fruit trees, Ficus auriculata, Trimbal or Timal, or Ficus palmata, subspecies Bargeta, they need to be preserved in the forest, because they also allure the langurs and macaques, monkeys. And as these fruits, if these fruits are available to the monkeys, they will not come outside the forest, and they will relish these fruits while staying inside the forest. Otherwise, they will not find anything to eat, and they will come outside the forest, and they venture into the towns and cities, and they will damage crops also. And even there's a monkey menace which we usually experience, and many farmers, especially in Bhadrava area, they have switched over to lavender cultivation, keeping in view the monkey menace. They say lavender or Lavandula angustifolia is one crop which in Hindi called as the Neel Gandhi or Neel Gandha. This is the crop, aromatic crop. Although this is exotic to our lands, but Bhadrava farmers are telling monkeys do not damage the crop, So the market price of the that lavender oil is also very high. So they have shifted from maize cultivation to the lavender cultivation, and has brought about the purple revolution in the hills of Vadarva. But if we focus on planting or preserving these forest fig fruits, these are the I think these can help to better manage the wildlife. These two figs which you see, they are basically consumed even by humans, but there are other species of figs also in the forest which though not consumed by the humans, but they support the wildlife. For example, similar looking another tree which is called gular, in Dogri that is called rumbal, Ficus racemosa, cluster fig tree, that is also growing in plenty in Jammu hills, and mostly this tree is also revered, and it is also mentioned in the Vedic sacrificial rituals where its wood is auspicious and it is used in the Yagya Havan Samagri. So this tree that gular or rumbal, Ficus racemosa, it also acts as the larval host tree for many butterflies, especially the crow butterflies, Euploea core. Likewise, even this trimbal can also be used by many insects to complete their life cycle, apart from barbets, hornbills, and green pigeons. And likewise, barbets, hornbills, and green pigeons are also fond of visiting these Punjab fig fruits, Ficus palmata fruits, and they support the population of these feathered friends, which not only they play important role in pollination of many flowering trees, but they also help in the better seed germination of fig fruits. It has been found in many research experiments where the seed collected after they were excreted by the birds, especially the hornbills, those seed showed better germination. But whereas the seeds are directly collected from the figs, they show the poor germination. So it means in nature there is a kind of chemical, you can say some requirement which takes place inside the intestine of these birds, and so the fig fruits they get dispersed. And this is also the reason why we find most of the fig saplings, they are growing on the ramparts, on the forts, and inaccessible locations on the walls of old abandoned houses, because after eating fig fruits, birds flew away and they take a rest somewhere on the walls at higher locations, and there these figs start germination. So this is also, but these figs, whether it's a Ficus palmata or it is Ficus auriculata or similar looking Ficus racemosa, we find the leaves are mostly alternate. Arrangement of the leaves is one leaf at each node. Whereas in case of few species, especially one which we see across in Jammu hills, is Ficus hispida. It has opposite leaves. Leaves are borne in opposite pairs. And this particular tree is also medicinal. It is called in Sanskrit as Udumbara. Similarly, we have the Ficus religiosa, which is a sacred fig tree under which Mahatma Buddha got the enlightenment, so also named as tree of enlightenment. In Dogri we call that bird. And mostly the people trees are religious, they are associated with religious ceremonies, and mostly they were planted by the forefathers near water bodies, near ponds and drinking water resources, so that their falling leaves also added good quality of calcium and other things and kept the bodies clean. So that way we also have another fig which is also named as the Bargat or Ficus bengalensis, because this was the tree which was named as bengalensis, as largest tree was seen in the Calcutta Botanical Garden at that time by the taxonomists, so named after Bengal as bengalensis. We have the Vat Savitri Puja, that has also reflects our traditional look toward the conservation of nature, how the community have conserved these fig trees inside the sacred groups, and how they have even associated some kind of sacred rituals with the plants, fig plants like gular in particular. Then there is another religious sacred tree which is called plakhi in Dogri or pakad in Hindi, plakshi or plaksh in Sanskrit, which is white fig tree, Ficus virens, and mostly we see the Peer Baba at Symbol Sui in Kanachak area, where there is a Peer Baba, old Peer Baba shrine, and on over that shrine we find about 300-year-old Ficus virens tree stands preserved in the memory of that Peer and Fakir. So these figs are also thought of as the leaves are also thought these leaves were used by Adam and Eve in the Eden garden to conceal their nakedness. In some civilizations, it is considered as the apple fruit which they ate, and after that they got this kind of consciousness, and then they found themselves naked, and to hide that nakedness they use the fig leaf. So even in iconography and painting we use a fig leaf as symbolic to with our ancient culture. And even during Roja, Ramjan, Navaratras, Lodi, we usually have the dry figs which are presented to near and dear ones, and they are also distributed during the festive times, and it has a lot of health benefits. So let us conserve the fig diversity of India. Even we have the fig, climbing figs, for example, Ficus sarmentosa, which stands preserved at a sacred grove inside the Dhansar Shiva shrine. Likewise, we have Ficus repens, which is a climbing fig, which we usually find within Jammu city. People are using it as a creeping fig, and it creeps over walls. So there are many other figs like Ficus benjamina, weeping fig tree, which stands introduced in the floriculture gardens across the Jammu landscape. And there are many fig species. They are very useful in bonsai making, and mostly people have also mastered the technique how to go for bonsai making using various species of fig, especially the Ficus microcarpa or Ficus bengalensis, even Ficus virens. Thank you.